curious if people are using that or not.
I'm actually kind of like I've been looking into it a little bit because I actually like the idea of being able to follow certain creators. I'm not sure what it does though yet. I hit the follow button when I see something.
Like
Doesn't do
Island
anything. That's why I was
Horror
curious.
Yeah, I just
It
follow
will
people
though.
on occasion
It will.
when I like their work or I like what they're
Mm-hmm.
standing.
Sign in real
All
quick.
right. Yeah, that would be sweet.
You just a minute. If you have any instructions on how you want us to use the camera, like I imagine we'll just kind of follow you, but
Yeah, I mean, and you can follow the different booths and stuff too. I have my video being restreamed on TikTok as well as your your Twitch stream. I'm currently getting the audio from my Oculus though. But you know,
Okay.
feel free to go to the different booths. I mean, there's a lot of really cool ones here. So.
oh. Signing into TikTok now. 1 sec. Oh yeah, I made it. I made it yesterday. I'll be talking more about that soon.
Let's go live again. Why did the live get canceled? That's not fun. I think it's because I opened TikTok on my phone. Can't have TikTok open on 2 devices at once, maybe? Try again.
Gosh.
What?
That is when I signed in fresh at TikTok. That's what I got blasted with.
Oh yeah, I love when that happens.
Okay, LucidVR. Lucas VR Tech. That's you, right? Or no?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's streaming.
Awesome. Look good. Can you hear the sound?
Yeah, and it's just coming straight from your Oculus video feed as well, right?
Yep, exactly. Oh, I forgot that Discord shows up on the stream. I hope nothing confidential.
It just Discord just popped up for a second. Yeah, it seems
like
it's
it
maybe
popped up on the
lagged
stream because I was on that window.
and maybe it's lagged like 7 to 10 seconds. It looks like the stream, just for your
That's okay.
information. Yeah, totally fine.
All right, I am going to ping everyone on the server and let them know.
Cool. And quick question. So for what's being restreamed from our stream is YouTube. Is that right?
I decided I'm just not going to do the YouTube, and I'm just going to direct people to either your Twitch or my TikTok.
Okay, so we don't need to worry about our stream being connected with your feed, essentially.
No, I mean your stream is on my feed, on my TikTok feed, but not YouTube.
Okay, cool.
But like, don't worry about synchronizing it. Like, the camera angles are different enough that it shouldn't matter too much.
Okay, sounds good. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah.
love
probably
the fact
see the
that
camera on the
their,
stream as well.
The head is
Yeah.
just
Oh
stuck
no,
into
the stream
side.
shut down again.
Ah. Ah.
Live was ended unexpectedly. Click live to start. Click go live to start a new broadcast. Why did it do that again? That is so annoying. The live keeps getting shut down. My internet might be spotty.
Yeah, no, 'cause you haven't disconnected from here or anything. It's only been the live, really.
Go live. All right, I'm trying to go live again.
Why is this man so tall all of a sudden? What did you do?
I was sitting in a chair and then I found an invisible block.
Hey everyone that's just joining. I am sorry that the stream keeps cutting out. Lula TV is bad software, but I have no other option because TikTok doesn't want to give me a stream key, so I have to use Lula TV. So I'm sorry that the TikTok keeps cutting out. For those of you guys that want to join, you can go to the link in my description, or if you want to watch the stream from Twitch, which will be a lot more reliable than this one, then you can go do that. Again, link in my description to the Discord, and then I have an announcement on there to the Twitch. Alrighty, let's see. Got 9 minutes until the event. Sweet.
One over there.
What a short mole.
Hello.
And waiting for the event to start, I'm guessing.
Got some.
Hey, Tony.
Woojer.
Gotta love that camera.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hi.
And then over here is let's see, stream still running? It is. Awesome. Alrighty, we are gonna get this stream kicked off.
Namio?
Very nice.
Yeah, a couple more people are joining.
Hi, Blocko.
I'm curious though, 'cause I've not seen
Alrighty,
anyone I
awesome. Welcome
recognize.
everyone that's joining. You guys are gonna get to experience the VR Hardware
Hello.
Expo.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hey Fia,
Hey Lucas, what's up?
what's up? How you doing?
Pretty good. How
Just-
about you?
Good. I just got the TikTok stream running.
Oh, sick. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
I love TikTok.
Let's see. Everyone say hi to Fia. There's
Hi,
20 people
Fia.
watching right
Hi,
now.
Fia.
Oh, awesome. Hello, everybody. Happy to be here.
Oh, I meant everyone on TikTok, but yeah, you guys can say hi too. That works too.
That's great. Lots of highs. I appreciate it. I'm happy to meet everybody, and hopefully everybody watching the streams has a blast as well. I think this is gonna be a really fun time.
Yeah, for sure.
Funnily enough, I don't think I've noticed anyone here who I've actually recognized before, aside from Lucas and Justin. I think everyone else is like new users.
Well, I'm Ender Prince on Discord. I don't talk much. It's for some reason it has my real name on here.
But no, I just mean like all you guys are new users too.
Oh,
especially.
oh, there's Chris. All right, we're getting some familiar
Chris, yeah, nice.
faces.
Alright.
Get in the
Nice.
game.
I'm like checking the TikTok stream is down again.
No.
My internet keeps doing something weird, or maybe it's just Lula TV that's being weird.
Nice face
The TikTok stream-
tattoos. Are you talking? Wait, is there a way to like check somebody's like stuff because I can't hear them?
don't
Yeah,
think anyone's talking.
you can click on them, and it gives
Ah,
you
there
like
we
a
go.
business card.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I am sorry, Storm. I cannot hear you if you're talking.
Hey, Abysma. This Abysma here is the guy that made the artistic render of my gloves, by the way.
Oh, awesome.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome guy.
Nice to meet you. Nice block.
Yeah, I don't think they've applied their avatar.
That's
Oh,
funny.
Jesse's here. That's nice.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Yo.
Hello.
How's it going?
Hello.
There's a lot of new people here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. What's up, Chris?
I think Justin said the limit is 50 people, so we'll have to see. I was worried it was gonna like fill up immediately and people wouldn't be able to get in, but it looks like it's a little good so far. But we're still 3 minutes early, so we'll see. We might
I
hit that
came
50
like
minute, 50 minute
half
mark.
an hour ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been waiting for quite a while.
Guys, Squeaks built that awesome archway over there for the LucidVR
Yeah, I saw it. It looks pretty
hardware
cool.
hostel.
Yeah, you guys did
Sweet.
such a good job. It looks great.
Yeah.
We had a mock-up too, but we didn't really end up using it because everything else kind of just sorted itself out. It's pretty cool still. I like how it turned out.
Yeah, nice.
It's kind of creepy seeing everybody as just floating heads.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I actually kind of prefer this type of avatar over the ones of VR chat and everything. I kind of like them like this. We just-
Yeah?
And they are a little more low profile.
Yeah, that's true.
I think they should at least have arms. I don't know if they need legs.
I prefer VR trick.
Oh, it'll look creepy without, like with arms and without legs though. Like it'll look like walking like spiders. Or, I don't know, like biped.
Weird.
That's great.
This reminds me of Gorilla Tag. Could be a way you move around. You just do this, you
Yeah,
move
that's
around.
true. It'd be like Gorilla Tag, that's right.
We can have a game of Gorilla Tag in here.
Yeah. Just need the trees.
Less toxic. That's
Got the crane. Crane could work.
There is a crane. Under construction, I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we discussed the crane at one point. We had to.
That's
There's like a whole construction site over here at one point, but we had to remove a lot of it. We just had to keep the crane because it looks cool.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Need like an
crane's
ape
cool.
on top of the crane, like King Kong.
Oh, that would be so cool. That would be awesome.
John, I love your avatar.
I like that idea.
It's great.
Oh, hey.
Did you guys bring some models?
you. Got the 3D
I know
glasses
you had
on and
issues with
everything.
yours, Alex, but what about the
I
rest
don't
of
Yeah.
us?
have a 3D model.
That's alright, no worries. You're gonna get to look at plenty of other models.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way it works normally is you have to you import your own models through the website, and you can display them on those little pedestals over there. I put mine there earlier just to kind of showcase to someone who I was talking with, but yeah, if you click the display this model button, you'll kind of swap it out for your own. If you've uploaded one, of course. I don't know if it works if you haven't.
So tall.
Nice. Alright. Oh, it is now 4 o'clock. Or 1 PST, whatever time zone you are. So I guess we are starting.
All
Here
right.
we go. Oh, and the TikTok stream ended. Okay, great.
Oh no.
I think it's TikTok fighting me
Nice.
because I set it as an actual event, so they probably want me to stream from my phone instead of my PC.
Hey, Slapstick. How's it going? How you doing?
That's fine. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Cool.
Obi John Kenobi.
Hello. Hey, Fury. Some people are very tall, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I
he's
am
huge.
sitting me if I stand up.
Oh god, it's storm.
Oh, there we go.
Don't make me take off my headset to be taller.
Lucas, you up and running again?
Yep, sure
Awesome.
am. I think that's going to be happening throughout the entire time, so I'm just going to keep maintaining that.
Should we head over to your booth?
Sure, yeah. Is Justin coming today?
Yeah, he'll be in. I think they'll all start to trickle in now that it's 4.
Yeah, fashionably late.
But I think
Not
we
a
can just
problem.
go ahead and get started in your booth if we want.
Sure. I guess we can start with a little tour. I don't know if I know
good.
Justin usually likes to start with a little circle chat, but we can work it out.
Yeah, we can see. Let's see.
Okay. I guess we can start with a little tour of the booths, and then we can circle back here.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Hey, Chris.
Alrighty, everyone. Welcome to the LucidVR Hardware Hostel.
Wow. Well, well,
I only fell a
that's
little
it for the tour.
Leroy
Only a
Jenkins.
little bit.
Ah, cool.
Yep. I took my headset off to check the stream, and then I fell.
Great job.
All right.
Yeah, you like the new stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Looks great.
Where's
The
Squeaks?
bar over
Squeaks,
here
you
is
want to give us a
awesome.
tour? Since
Is
you
it
made
functional?
Oh yeah, sure. I was just
Alright,
asking
come on over.
people in there to close the door. All right. So
No.
over here we have the archway, of course. We have a little pub over here. Over here we have these little bunk beds. I actually made this arch, by the way. You know, that looks
Very
neat,
impressive.
I guess. I made it pretty quickly. I made a couple drafts, but I was most proud of this one. And over here we have Lucid's.
Oh, a big bed.
Welcome. Welcome to my booth, guys.
High five.
Big high five.
But it's nice to have some place where you, when you get tired, right? that you
Yeah,
can rest.
exactly. Come lie down and unpack some luggage, get some new
Awesome.
clothes.
Looking good. It looks great on the stream too. This is perfect.
Well, yeah, nice extension to the regular, let's say, main
Yeah,
area.
it's good, isn't it? Yeah. It's
I
a
have
nice
a
change up,
room,
have a
so
new
just
area
closing
to
the
go to.
Wave to the camera.
So this thing's apparently made out of technology that uses only $22, which is very impressive.
Yeah, I guess we can start chatting while we wait. But this is the $22 VR haptic glove right here. That's prototype 3 right here. Technically 3.1, and then prototype 4 is that one up there. There's prototype 4 of the VR haptic glove.
Wow.
It's good that it works. But yeah, I'll go more in depth once we actually get started.
Oh wow.
Should we move on to finally Functional's booth? You can give a quick little intro, and then we'll do the actual thing once we're ready to circle around and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, this is my booth. I'm working on shoes that you'd wear while you play VR games, so you can walk around, but not go anywhere in real life, so you can walk as much as you want in the game.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Honestly, I'm glad they're getting closer to like full dive stuff. Because I remember back in like 2019, I think it was. I went to this place called The Void, and it was like this full dive VR thing. Only issue though is that it's definitely not geared towards people who want to have the stuff at home. It's geared towards people who want to go into like the location and everything. I feel like having all that stuff at home would definitely benefit us, though. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm trying to make it so if you have a 3D printer, you can make one of these, and then all the other parts are, easy to find tools. I'm trying to minimize the number of tools that you need to make this.
Awesome. Do we have our guy from the Gunstock booth? Any of you guys here? Haven't actually seen him in game yet. Maybe he's over there. I'm gonna go look for him real quick.
Can I go through my model? I can.
Who did all of the 3D models?
Well, this is my 3D modeling.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
So, yeah, I
You
did
make it in Blender, I'm assuming, or no?
No, it's this program called Design Spark Mechanical. I eventually want to move over to Fusion, but for now I'm in that program.
Yeah, Fusion's nice.
That's super cool.
Thank you.
We're lucky to have YouTubers like these that are giving us the files for free instead of selling them for thousands.
Yeah. That's kind of like the main issue with a lot of VR hardware. They're being sold for so much that it's just
Wow, we got a
not
lot of people
feasible
here
for
today.
normal consumers.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we're gonna circle up in the big room again, the big island. All right, Justin's here, so we are gonna get started. I'm just gonna go grab the last of the peeps.
Spooky.
Wow, we got a good amount of people. Do you guys know
Look at
how many
this. Welcome in.
concurrents we have?
27
We're
right
at 27 right now. It's still pretty early too. It's only started 8 minutes ago, so we probably
So they've
give
broken
Yeah.
another record. I think.
Starting pretty
Because
strong.
Last time
I think the record
25.
was 31. No?
almost. It's
Justin,
31. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Awesome.
Hey, how's it going?
question for you, Justin.
Is that Richard?
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah. What's up?
Can we connect to the space at any time? It just would be empty, or can we not get in while it's not running?
Yeah, so it's basically always open.
Yeah, you can come in here anytime. We only
Okay.
are really organizing programming on Thursdays, but I encourage you to be in here anytime you like.
Cool.
Especially if you got stuff in here you're showing off, you can come in here with other people and show off your work that way.
Cool.
For sure.
Okay.
Cool.
I tried earlier and I couldn't get. I wasn't sure whether it was
there's a lot of
technical thing or
testosterone
what.
in this
Now I'm in, so
room.
that's really great.
Yeah, so we do sometimes have issues with, when we're making changes and we have an old version of the app up. So that's our
Right.
fault, but we're going to get better at that. And within the next
Cool.
couple weeks, you should be able to come in anytime.
Fantastic.
Oh, I just saw somebody fall through the floor. Oh,
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Oh.
What's going on? Oh,
Oh,
tree.
no.
Oh
It's happening.
That is a glitch. That
Sacrifice.
happens.
This
If
is
anyone
yeah,
falls through the
this is-
floor,
this is-
all you have to do is
Oh,
close your app and reopen it.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Got a few people falling through the floor. Uh-oh.
Get it out.
All right. Well, once we get our people back, you wanna we
Yeah.
can do a little circle.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Nice.
Mm.
It's a lot
Oh.
of people in here.
One person got back.
We
All right,
gotta
yeah,
just
looks
go
like
inside.
the
The
rejoin.
app
Nice
is
turn.
devoured.
And is
What
the-
we need is like a respawn
I
button.
like your avatar.
Yes, 100%.
How's it going?
Are you
We're
standing
so
next to him?
close,
It's
I think,
alright.
to solving
I'm,
this. I think we
just
finally figured out
observing.
what's
Oh,
causing
nice.
it.
Santa
Kinda
Claus
good.
aren't you?
But we have to
Soft for
upgrade
me. I
our
can barely
unit.
hear your voice.
That takes many days.
Have you noticed this guy back here who's like
Oh,
filming
okay.
us? It's kind of
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Project.
Wait,
We're
I'm
like
gonna get
actually
a bit
filming.
closer
Is
just
that
to see if we can hear you
awesome.
a bit better.
Yeah, it's filming.
All right.
That's cool.
Yeah, so all this is being
Before the big
broadcast
circle,
to
I'm
Twitch,
gonna
basically.
open the
Oh,
TikTok
yeah.
again.
Oh, cool.
The floating head with a camera.
Okay. we're
Reminds
back
me of
to this.
Lucky 2 in like Super Mario 64, right?
Yeah.
Give him a
little
little
bit.
cloud so he's flying around.
My man learned the power of flight. Impossible.
Oh, someone's stretching.
All right, here we go.
Donna, did
All
you
right,
fall
ready?
through the floor?
I sure
All right,
did. That
guys,
was wicked.
Let's
sure.
try to
Okay.
yeah,
Let's
Holy
let's
cow.
like a big circle or something if we can. Rough.
Wow.
Um,
Hey,
and we'll
have you
get this
been?
started.
I just read this like literally 15 minutes ago.
Sure.
You know, the Lytton, BC had the
Um,
big had these record temperatures. Did you know?
Yeah.
Crap.
I
The
heard something
town
about that.
burnt down.
No.
Oh.
Oh my god.
What?
Okay.
Hey.
Everything good?
Where'd you go?
Sounds good. Okay. So just real quick, for any of you who haven't been here before, this is a persistent space in the metaverse for all of us engineers, creators, hardware developers, VR software developers to come together, collaborate, meet each other, and show off our work. We launched it about 2 months ago. You can come in here anytime, but we do programming, something cool every Thursday. And this week we're showing off some hardware projects from Lucas's community and some of Lucas's friends. So why don't we start off by just, if you have a booth, maybe come up. So we have Finally Functional here, Lucas, and who made the VR Gunstock project?
Are they here?
That's okay.
Yeah, I can call them later and see if they.
No worries. Well, why don't you guys just take 30 seconds each and just describe your project on here, and then after that we'll break out and go check some stuff out.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Lucas.
All right, yeah, I guess I'll start. So, hi everyone, I'm Lucas, also known as Lucas VR Tech, also known as LucidVR, and I have been working on a project to build VR haptic gloves and make them as affordable as possible. So it's been something that I've been doing since December. I started as just a fun hobby, and then after it blew up on TikTok, I decided to open these gloves out to everyone and make them as good as I can and get them working in as many games as possible. Recently, I've gotten a lot more involved with the community. We've got some more developers on the community side that are helping out. And now we have the gloves working with finger tracking in every Valve Index compatible game. And we're slowly starting to roll out the haptics so that you can actually feel the objects that you touch in game. My booth, along with Alex's booth, are going to be over there.
Cool.
That's cool.
Right. I'm Alex. My social media name is Finally Functional. I'm working on VR shoes, so shoes that you would wear in real life that keep you in the same spot as you walk and allow you to turn and just go in any direction. But in the game, you can move around the virtual world as much as you want. I started the project, I think like 3 years ago, something like that. And it's been a lot of fun. It's all open source, so you can take the files and do whatever you want with them. And I publish all. I've been publishing a build log series on YouTube for a while now, where I go more into depth about all the troubleshooting and all the different designs. I don't know, I'm on like design 16 now or something like that. But I go through everything and show all the failures and all the successes. Lately, I've been working on a passive VR shoe that's lighter and more compact and quieter and more durable, but I've done several in the past where they're using motors, and I plan on using motors again in the future. But yeah, that's what I do.
Very cool. Okay, and just one last thing before we go over there and check some stuff out. You're free to roam around, talk to whoever you like, do whatever you want. If you yourself or know someone who wants to present something in a future week, just let us know. Also, we have this cool little uploader here. So if you do have a GLB format, you can go to your account settings, upload it, and bring it right in without scheduling anything. And last thing, if you've been here before, you know what this is, but this is our t-shirt cannon. We're going to fire one off, all right? So if you catch one, we will ship a real Spatial Lake t-shirt to your house. That's the deal here, okay? So if you want to get in front of me and just get a chance at catching this, if you got your hands up, you're gonna have a little bit of chance, better chance at getting something sent your way. Yeah, there we go. That's the excitement we like to see. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, and who wants it? Who wants it?
Get the T-shirt.
Oh, who got it?
Fia.
Hey.
Oh, I got it.
Nice. Congrats,
Oh,
Fia.
sweet.
All
Wow.
right.
High five.
Yeah, very cool.
Thank you. Wow, I feel so honored.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, Jesse will follow up with you
Wow.
after and make sure you get a cool T-shirt.
Oh, thank you. Wow, that's so nice.
Excellent.
All right.
Awesome. Let's go check out the new space.
Sweet. Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, Justin, do you know what's up with Woojer and Contact?
I don't. I think Contact CI is coming at some
Contact
point.
Signed
Okay.
up. They should be coming in soon here.
Yeah, in a few
Awesome.
minutes.
Awesome. Great. Cool. Yeah. In that case, we can get started at the Hostel booths over there, and then these 2 booths will hopefully fill up as we go.
Following you.
Nice. Thanks, Jesse.
Nice. Thank
Can I
you.
get a root beer?
Yep, here we go. I got one
Yum,
over
yum.
here.
Fantastic.
Happy hour. We're just gonna take a nap over here.
Oh, cool. I'll take a bottom bunk.
VR booth.
All right.
There's plenty of room. There's room for like.
Wow.
This is. I'm really happy with the layout that they put for the booth.
Nice.
So, yeah, I already gave a little summary
Did a,
already
conference, so.
in the circle. But if you guys have any questions, otherwise I'll keep talking about glove stuff. And also, here's a model of the gloves. The texture is a little weird, but that is
Oh,
prototype
nice.
3 right there.
Wow.
Nice.
And Lucas, this one on the top right is prototype 4. Is that right?
Yep. So this glove right up there, that is prototype 4.
When did you finish up that one?
So it's still not fully released, not publicly yet anyway. But I am currently finishing it up right now, actually.
Awesome.
Hopefully in the next couple weeks.
Very cool.
Oh.
Notice it's
Yeah.
plugged in. Is it gonna have Bluetooth support later on?
Actually, great question. So as of prototype 3.1, which is like, I don't know if you guys see the same frame that I see there, but as of prototype 3.1, which is that one up there, it does use ESP32s or has support for them, which means it's already totally Bluetooth compatible.
Oh, sick.
So you don't have to
Alright.
be plugged into the computer at all, as long as you have a battery to plug it into.
Looks nice.
Yeah. And then as of prototype 4, now it's got force feedback haptics. So you can actually touch stuff in a compatible app and it'll let you feel the stuff that you touch. It's got motors that are going to pull back the string so you can actually feel like the presence of an object in your hand, which I think is pretty sweet.
This is very cool.
Super cool.
So where did
Yeah,
you
thanks.
get your parts all for under $22? Like what website do you get for like potentiometers and stuff?
Yeah, sure. So prototype 3, which that's the one that the famous $22 glove. That one uses, so the potentiometers I got on Amazon. I got them for about 60 cents each at the cheapest. And then the Arduino I got for $3. I got a real steal on those, but they're more expensive now, unfortunately. Let's see, the glove material itself I kind of consider free because like I didn't buy a glove. I just used some random glove that was lying around that came with a picture frame. So I considered that like a freebie. And then the 3D printing filament, it was like $1 in print filament really, because prototype 3 is pretty compact, so it doesn't use that much plastic at all.
I'm noticing a lot more wires and everything in Prototype 4. So
What was that?
I'm noticing a lot more wires on Prototype 4.
Oh yeah. Prototype 4 has way more wires. The reason is there's double the stuff to plug into. Because Prototype 3, all it really had was 5 potentiometers plugged into the Arduino. Now Prototype 5 has 5 potentiometers, 5 servo motors, and then also including all the stuff in Prototype 3.1, that's the joystick for walking around and buttons and stuff like that. And every single one of those needs power and signal and ground. So that's why there's so many wires.
Yeah, I feel your pain when I
Yes,
the,
I'm sure
the
you do.
electronic box on the VR shoes that I had before. It's like, why do you take up so much space? You know?
Yeah, seriously, the struggle's
There's-
real.
How is latency in your experience so far?
Great question. So when we get to talk about latency, then we have to talk about the driver itself, which is the open source project called Open Gloves that I've been working on with Dan. I don't know if you guys know Dan from the Discord server. But anyway, we've been making the driver together. As of version 0.1, the latency was really, really bad. But we made a lot of improvements to the driver. We made our communication protocol more efficient, and we actually got the delay a lot better. I don't know if you can see this video. The clip with Boneworks is using the latest version of the driver, so the latency is much lower. It's actually like almost on par to the latency that you would expect from an actual VR controller, which is non-zero, but low enough that it doesn't really make a difference. The only thing I'm still working on with the latency is the speed of the motors. I need to figure out a way to speed them up in a way that you can actually like feel stuff without there being a delay to the motors getting there. But that's something that I have a couple plans to try to mess with.
Awesome.
You have any plans to like move anything up, like attach things to the forearm? Like I imagine the wires maybe you could, and all the electronics, maybe that could be something that's more of a forearm module, then a battery too, and might be all sorts of things that you can do.
Yeah, that's a good question. So the ESP32 and stuff, yeah, like you said, can already move that to the forearm, like the electronics and all that. The controller, which that's another thing I forgot to mention, for positional tracking, you either need a Vive tracker or like an Oculus controller, or really any VR controller. You can just strap it to your hand. And that's what actually measures where your hand is. And then for the finger tracking, that's the potentiometers. So the controller currently does have to be mounted on your hand so that you can get full like wrist tracking and all of that. But what we want to add eventually is I want to add a little IMU module, like a gyroscope and accelerometer, into the glove, so that then the controller can get moved up further up your arm, so it doesn't use as much leverage on your arms and stuff like that.
Good idea.
Yeah, thanks.
Have you I know that Slime VR, they're doing something with IMU sensors for low cost body tracking, which we'll see how that goes. That might be something that could be integrated in there, or I suppose since you're doing it on your own, there might not be any reason to do it that way.
Yeah, actually, I mean, doing Slime VR is something I've been considering, like figuring out a way to get it compatible with the gloves. It should already be compatible technically, since Slime VR does go through Steam VR as well, I believe. There's a couple tricky things as far as like the accuracy that you need for hand tracking is way higher than the accuracy you need for like full body tracking. Just because your hands are like your primary, well, I'm like, sorry, dropping my controller, are like your primary like method of, you know, like interacting with everything. So if it's not super accurate, like you will notice, whereas the full body tracking, if it's like spotty or laggy, like it doesn't make as big a difference. So that's where like the hands really, you need like that accurate, not just gyroscope, but also that either base station or camera based tracking as well.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, potentially with webcams or something, could like even improve the tracking with Slime VR and get something pretty awesome.
Have you seen a project called Mimu Gloves that does something with MIDI? And they have some smart gloves for MIDI, and they use it in, I don't know, artists use it?
I have not seen that, but that sounds really cool. I'll probably look it up later.
Yeah, there was an artist, Imogen Heap, that just used them in a VR concert 2-3 days ago. Maybe yesterday, actually.
Oh,
Yesterday.
nice.
It just, yeah, it's interesting.
I attended a VR concert yesterday in Somnium Space, if you guys know what that app is. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, I have tickets for it in July.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments or suggestions? Anything? Otherwise, we can continue the train.
It's great to see what you're doing here, and not like I don't feel alone, with you working on this too, and that sort of thing. It's I don't know, it's so fun, and I was just thinking like I just imagine years from now, like you'll have a full arm that can have haptic feedback, and I'll work from my shoes up to have like a full sort of leg thing, and
We'll
then
meet at the
in 10
torso?
years, yeah, and then in 10 years we're gonna combine and we're gonna make an Iron Man suit, but for VR or
Iron Man
something.
suit. Yes.
Nice.
VR
Love
Iron
it.
Man suit.
Yeah,
I love
one
it.
of these.
I believe in the vision.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, by the way,
It's an
guys, to give credit where
inevitability.
credit's due, Abysma here, she made the glove model that I'm using here. This is like a low poly artistic rendering of the main LucidVR gloves, which are prototype 3 over there. So all credit to that. She did an awesome job. The texture, something weird happened with the texture, but it still looks amazing.
Looks great.
Good job.
There's gonna be a problem with the UV mapping or something like that. I'm not sure though.
Looks like it's meant to be that way.
Hey guys. Yeah. High five. Yeah. Nice. Whoa! I just teleported. Sorry. While I'm at it, I might as well restart the TikTok stream.
It went down again, didn't it?
Can you fall through this? Oh no.
Yeah, don't try. Don't test your chances. You're not gonna like the result.
You gotta do a little jump.
Hey, Donna, I'm glad you made it in.
Oh, you can go up on the bunk bed?
Thank you. Yeah.
How
Cool.
I got it. And then when I
Nice.
got my avatar and stuff, I love Ready Player and
I could see so many little Easter eggs being around here, like King Kong on the crane, or one of these being a double-decker couch, and
You find like a tooth underneath a pillow or something, or
Alright.
or a quarter. Yeah. I
There's
kind
a
of want to
random
climb the
corpse
crane
just
now.
slightly hidden behind a corner.
You guys on the bunk bed? Yeah.
Hey, let's have a pillow fight.
It's huge.
Oh,
Nice.
I'm like,
Yes.
yes, I'll go here.
Alright, I'm gonna check out Finally Functional's booth.
Alright.
I love the way they have the model just like floating there, like slowly turning. I think it's like super professional. I think it looks great.
Yeah. Last night I wanted to see if it was going through the floor, so I got really low. I was like, oh, nope, just barely, not through the floor.
Storm Fury 9, I don't think I can hear you. No, I can't
Okay.
hear you.
check your
Sorry.
Quest settings. Your mic might be muted if that's the case.
Anybody see the floating hand?
Yeah.
Yep.
I got it.
Taking hands off approach.
Can you guys hear me?
Nice.
Yep,
But yeah,
I can hear you.
Yeah.
hello,
Alrighty.
Lucas.
Who said that? Oh, hey, how you doing?
Big fan.
Nice. Yeah, thank you.
Good to have you.
Glad your audio's working. All right, you wanna give us a rundown of the shoes?
Sure.
I mean, like,
Yep.
yeah. Oh no, I was gonna say like if you wanna go to like a specific picture or whatever, and we can go like a little closer. Whatever, it's up to you.
Sure. Yeah, I can talk about the pictures and the videos. So, yeah, the video I show a previous version and the latest version. So like here I have the latest one. These are just passive and they're much smaller, and they feel pretty good. Can lift my heels, don't have to walk flat-footed, all that sort of thing. And I can jump on them, and I can, yeah, there we go. And I can run with them. And due to the rug, they're pretty quiet. Running is a little noisy, as you can imagine, but walking, I think it's pretty good. And so yeah, that's the current version, and then this over here is kind of a close-up of what that looks like up there. So upper left, that was one of the previous versions. It was motorized, a lot more clunky and bigger, but these didn't come off the ground. You would still be able to lift your foot, and there'd be like a binding attached to your foot. So essentially, the shoes could be bigger and bulkier and weigh more, but they never leave the ground. So they just roll along
Well, nice
with your
to chat
feet
with you.
as you lift them up.
Awesome that you can move it in.
and take steps.
Thanks.
So, that was the previous one. I ran into some issues, and I wanted to try some things out. So like this one down here, it's made, I don't, for the 3D printing people out there, it's made out of TPU, so it's like a flexible filament. It can flex, and if you throw it against the wall, it's not going to break on you. So what I did was I made it all out of that flexible filament, and then the silver here, these are rods that are running along the length to reinforce it so that it can maintain its shape, and yeah, it can hold all the weight. I tested them up to like 230 pounds, and they did fine. But essentially, like, these are a lot more durable, so if you've watched my videos, I have thrown them into my cement floor in my basement, and they're fine. Whereas the ones up there, I had to replace a few gears, I had to replace a few parts that cracked, and so on. So I really focused on durability. I started focusing on compactness, and I just wanted to see how a passive shoe would feel. As a passive shoe, it could be a lot cheaper and simpler to make. And then the one in the middle, upper middle, that's maybe a future version that could be omnidirectional. So yeah, that's just something I'm planning on trying in the future. It's using
Is that for
like
strafing?
Yeah, so strafing, or you may have, or the way that I walk normally is my toes are pointed out slightly. So as you can imagine, if you have a shoe that just goes straight, goes straight back and forth, then your foot comes back at an angle. So, but if you had omnidirectional shoes, you could angle your feet however you want and then pull them in any direction, whatever your preference is. So things like that. Yeah, this is a even older version. You can see a little omnidirectional wheel under there. Tried to do some stuff with that, ran into some issues, but yeah, I'll try it again. And like I was saying, that box on the side, that's for all the electronics. So there were 2 speed controllers in there, an ESP32 microcontroller like Lucas was talking about. All the wiring, the battery was in there. It took up. Oh yeah, and the switch. So there was an anti-spark switch in there. That all just takes up so much space. And then here, this is like a support rig that I'm going to be designing. You can see, like in these first ones, I was just using kind of a bungee cord and so on. I'm also working on making a support rig that you'll be able to turn really well in, and that could support sitting and crouching, and have some features for like helping beginners out. Because one thing I was thinking about is I don't see a lot out there in terms of VR locomotion for like slide mills on helping beginners work their way up to use the device really well. So for example, if you had a support rig that supports crouching, beginner, if they fall, then that crouching is going to let them fall way farther. So you might want to be able to disable the crouching or to change how much they can crouch and so on. So this thing, the support rig I'm going to be working on, you can adjust how much you can crouch, and you can sit on it, and then some other features that make it easier for beginners, and just that hopefully make it comfortable and make it a better experience.
Is that support rig only for security, or is it also to keep you centered?
Yeah, it's to keep you centered. So the passive VR shoes, there's no motors in them, so you need something to push off against to bring your feet back. So like here, I have a rigid. In the video, I have a metal pole that I push off of, and that's how you bring your feet back. But so yeah, it serves that purpose, and it also helps stabilize the user. So if you need a little bit more stability, you have that. Yeah, and at least for the passive shoes, it needs to be rigid because as you can imagine, like say you're standing and then you start walking, if you have a support rig that's like more loose and can move around, you'll start walking and you'll feel no resistance. Then you'll get to the end of your slack and you'll just be pulled back all of a sudden. So that's so the idea with the rigid harness is that you you stay in the same spot. It keeps you in the same spot all the time, and you might feel like a constant, like you're constantly staying there. But since you're constantly restricted there, but the feeling is constant, so your body, your mind can tune it out very quickly. I don't really notice it after using it a lot. But when I add motors back in, we'll see if I can have a support rig that just is like a tether, that's just strictly for safety purposes.
2 questions. Does it work on all types of floors, and how much does it cost to make?
So I've tested it on like hard floor, like in the basement, and a rug like that. I'm thinking you wouldn't want to use it on actual carpeting, because you can imagine that you just run in the same spot for hours and days. That part of the carpet will get worn out a lot over time. So I'm thinking in the future, if you have that, you'd want to put something rigid down and run on that. So maybe like I want to try one of those rigid office chair mats and do a whole bunch of different testing with flooring. But yeah, for now it's I've tried some rugs and like kind of like gym flooring, and then the cement floor. And I want to try more in the future. There's so many things I want to try in the future that I just need to get to.
Nice.
As for cost, so like the motorized shoes that I had, like the ones over in the upper left, those I think were around $500 or $600, including like the support rig stuff. So the harness that I was wearing and all of that. So, and that was with motors that were, I think, overpowered for the purpose. So these were using big electric skateboard motors because I didn't really want to worry about the power. So I think the cost could be reduced, and you could use smaller motors and smaller speed controls. And I need to do more research into that. The passive shoes, I think it might be, maybe $40 or $50 to put the shoes together. But then there's also the rigid harness. So I'm not sure how much the whole rigid harness setup is going to cost. But yeah, I need to look into that more. It's a bunch of pipes. So if you go to the hardware store, you can buy a bunch of the pipes and like pipe fittings to put it all together. I'm hoping it's not going to cost too much. Yeah, like I said before, I'm trying to make it so that this whole setup, trying to make it so this whole setup can be put together if you just have a 3D printer and like basic tools. So, standard tools.
With the motorized shoes, have you tried to just ride around the house? Like,
no, I did that in the basement a little bit. So, but I wouldn't recommend it.
It's probably a bit dangerous.
Yeah.
For the motorized version, what sort of battery life were you getting in previous prototypes?
The motorized, yeah, I think I did a little bit of testing with that, and I was using, what was it? I can't remember how big the battery was. It was a pretty big battery, but I think you could get at least 3 hours out of it with the battery that I was using, but I never really I never ran it, drained the battery to see. And when I was doing that testing, one thing to keep in mind is I was doing it with the versions, so the upper left and the upper right, those versions that don't leave the ground. So one idea with that I had is that since they don't leave the ground, when you lift your foot and bring it forward, you're bringing the shoe forward, and the wheels are turning as you're doing that. And when those wheels turn, it's back driving the motor, and the motor becomes a generator and recharges the battery a little bit. I found that it doesn't recharge the battery very much. It might be the speed controllers I was using or something like that. But
doesn't cause too much
one
damage.
big idea with that was like you're recharging every step you take. So you're recharging as you take a step forward, and then as your foot comes back, you're discharging, so that the battery life could be could be a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah, you could probably integrate the foot going down in some way to aid in that as well, though that might be needlessly complex.
Yeah, I have a Hackaday page, and I actually was fiddling with something like that, where you have a platform that you push down as your foot comes down, and that'll bring you back a little bit. I found it was a bit more complicated because you're trying to translate maybe, like you don't want the shoe to be too tall, so maybe you add a few inches of height to push down, but you're trying to translate a few inches to an entire stride length, and that turned out to be a really big challenge. Would have needed some insane gearing ratios to make that happen, but one thing with that is maybe you don't need the full stride length. One thing that one of my friends who tried the passive shoes told me was that with the passive shoes, once you bring your foot forward and you bring it down and you start bringing your foot back, there's an initial force that you need to apply to the shoes to start bringing them back. So to get something going from a stopping position takes more effort than to keep it going. That's the idea. So with something like taking a step and when you're pushing a platform down to move you, it could just move you a little bit just to get you started. So it could get you over that hump, and then maybe it will be really easy for the user to keep bringing their foot back. So lots of ideas. There's too many to try.
Yes.
How was the driver for this? How long did it take to write?
Driver for this, I think most of it was just figuring OpenVR out, because I really don't like their documentation at all.
I absolutely agree.
Most of it was figuring it out. But then once I figured it out, it maybe took like 3 days to just get it to work. It's pretty simple right now, just forward and back. And
Nice.
I want to expand it later. For example, a feature I often get asked about is like a speed multiplier, so that if you're walking in real life, that would translate to running in the game, or customizing that to whatever you want. Another one would be, some people think that if you're moving in the game and then you stop, if you just hard stop, that's not natural, you know? But if you're moving in the game and then you kind of slow down and then stop, then that would be more natural. So I fiddled with something like that, where you kind of have a configurable slope to how fast you decelerate. So if you want to stop right away, like if you're in a multiplayer game and you have to stop and turn, then you can do that. Or if you wanted to slow down slower for some reason, you could do that as well. But those are a couple features I was playing around with. But the main driver that just makes you go back and forth, that was a few days, and after I figured out OpenVR. And then too, another thing is just figuring out the bindings. You probably have dealt with. Each binding could have each game could have a different binding that you need to figure out.
Yeah. Just for reference, Finally Functional is the only person who has ever made an OpenVR driver tutorial. So his tutorial was extremely helpful in making the driver for my gloves. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad you and some other people found it helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a pain in the ass to figure that
yes, 100%.
stuff out.
Yeah.
So is OpenVR, isn't that like the old SDK? Aren't we moving to the OpenXR thing now? I'm a bit confused about that stuff.
So, you wanna?
I haven't looked into it lately because I haven't had to deal with the driver in a while. But isn't really OpenVR is just an interface over that, like over the OpenXR protocol? Like OpenVR is just Steam's thing for it.
Yeah. So OpenVR is kind of like the open source like virtual reality standard that SteamVR runs on top of. So any driver that you make to make a controller work in SteamVR, you actually have to make an OpenVR driver. And I know Steam is slowly trying to get ready to move to OpenXR. That's still in beta, but it's not totally out there yet, and it's not compatible with most games that are on the Steam store. They use OpenVR skeletal input, so, or at least that's how my gloves work. But they use OpenVR input for what Finally Functional is doing. Yeah.
Yeah, and we need to get Oculus on board too, so we can write drivers for their stuff.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Yeah, I know, like for the VR shoes, like you guys have probably heard of Cyber Shoes. They had to basically they have to treat their Cyber Shoes as a gamepad to work on the Oculus, which is an experimental feature. So who knows what Oculus is going to do with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice if Oculus and Facebook would provide more support along those lines.
Oculus is moving to OpenXR as well, so they are already partially supporting. And you could always make a Unity package that actually isn't really an input device, but is something that games could actually use. So similar, because I'm currently trying to get full body tracking working on the Quest and standalone. So I'm just doing it over the network. So I'm just doing pseudo controllers that aren't really controllers as recognized by the system, but by the game itself. So yeah.
Oh, cool.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
So I don't know. I haven't researched very much, but you make a Unity, you make a package, and does that go with your game, or is that something that runs in the background?
You would have to have the game supported. So I'm using the Godot engine, and they are currently working on a system where you can create controllers basically by code, so that you can have a controller that is running in your that create a plugin that creates a controller, and then every game can use it. But if you would probably find enough players who developers who want to support that, so you just create something that they can integrate into the game and have this kind of shadow second controller that's just another game mode or something.
Okay. Yeah, great. That sounds great. Yeah. I was actually thinking the other day, like, is there something you could physically put on the Oculus Touch controller, like that moves the joystick physically? Just something really small that moves it. It's kind of funny, but yeah.
Like a servo motor in each axis.
Yep.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I like those. Have you guys seen, for Xbox controllers, there are these 3D printed steering wheels that you can put on them? That's what came to mind. I'm like, could you do the same thing with an Oculus controller?
Yeah.
Crazy idea.
Or like the Wii wheels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You'd lose the infrared tracking, presumably, but, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I mean, do you need hands and feet? Like, who needs hands, right? Oh, I need hands, actually. That's what my gloves are for.
I was going to say, I think we need both.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, guys, Craig from Contact CI came in. You guys want to hop over to his booth and hear some about what he's working on?
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Thanks a lot for presenting Finally Functional. And if you want to stay around and keep asking him questions, feel free. But I'm going to head over to the Contact CI one.
Lead the way.
Yeah.
All right.
Everyone's heading over. I'll head over too.
All right. Yeah, I'll join you guys. Sure thing.
Where's it?
Hey, Mince.
Hello.
So it's like Hardware Week, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's cool. This is so cool, man. Oh, look at that.
Hello. That's cool. I gotta run triple over here.
All right.
All right, yeah.
Did you get a chance to look at your booth yet, by the way?
Appreciate
It's looking pretty
Jesse
sweet.
for reaching out to me to come and join you all today.
It's over there if you want to go take a look.
One, this is my first time in the app and experiencing myself, as you probably can see from the avatar. So sorry for being a little bit late getting in and everything. I was trying to get all set up there. Pretty impressed by it so far, so excited to continue to check it out. Thanks, Jesse.
Awesome, yeah. Thanks for coming. And Craig, just so you know, you're a little bit muted, so if you could just speak up some, that'd be awesome.
Oh, absolutely. How's that? Is that a little better?
Yeah, it's a little better.
Wonderful. Let me check one more thing here. How's that?
Yeah, that's getting there.
Getting
How about
better on that
everyone else? Can you guys hear him all right?
Hello.
Get really
Can you guys
close.
hear me better now?
Yeah, definitely quiet.
Am I getting a little huddle? Can you guys hear me all right?
I think I'm probably like feeling like I'm talking to
Yeah.
people
Get a bit
in the
closer.
room and
Yeah, we'll
it's
just get
kinda
close.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's no bubble here on that part. So
Let's where everyone just get right in there.
Well, until we have haptics, then it'll feel a little weird for sure. Excited to chat with you guys and answer questions, give you a little bit about Contact CI, and kind of go from there. But I understand that majority of what kind of everyone's looking at right now is from the DIY standpoint, kind of how can we get things into VR and looking at it from like that, democratizing it standpoint. And I think that's awesome, considering I think that's where a lot of the roots of what makes XR an exciting platform as a whole comes from. I mean, originally when Palmer first put his Kickstarter up, his answer about thought I was going to have a couple hundred people to come together, would do an assembly party, order some pizzas, and go home from there, and that would be it. And obviously it's turned into quite a bit more. So I think from that end, don't feel like just starting to work on a project is not going to be able to turn to something that affects the whole industry. Me and my co-founder started when we were at Syracuse University as undergrads ourselves, just kind of tinkering and building devices in that Oculus Awakening period, so a couple years ago. And last few years, after building those devices really on DIY, one-offs, sending a couple to dev kits, research universities, things like that, we've turned towards more large enterprise uses right now, but are trying to figure out ways that we can bring it back to being a much more low-scale, easy way, because the long-term access is only using the enterprise right now to get gloves into everyone else's hands and allow people to touch everything that they're doing in this space, high-five each other, handshake each other. I'm sure a lot of what Lucas was properly preaching as the way to go and how you can interact in the future there is in that same way. But that's kind of been the long-term goal, is just not bringing only our eyes and ears, but having your hands in that standpoint. And we've really just been doing building 3D printing and iterating until we can get there. So on the video that what you're seeing here right now, on the right, what you're seeing is inside the headset. Bottom left is going to be seeing from the front-facing camera on the Vive, and then obviously an external camera above that. The device itself has got a couple different forces of actuation in it, because just like your eyes or your ears becoming in, to get truly immersed, it's not just one data point. We feel like we need enough that are multiple data points to kind of trick your fingers there. So inside the application, like right now, the door he's feeling, say that left hand, that doorknob squeezing down on it, he's going to be getting a vibration as well as a force feedback ability to pull that and feel that on his finger from both of them. And then for like the finger painting application right now, he's having a specific action that happens from the amount of force that he's putting in for the vibration, or what he's doing from the force feedback, kind of putting down on the object physics space. That's really what we want to be turning like the software aspect of what's happening is not just the hardware being like high fidelity, but the software also understanding what your hands are wanting to do when you're intending to do them. So that's, I guess, our approach is combining the two of how do we have as many motors as we can, with also making sure that the software is understanding and expecting what you want to be doing, so they can give you the proper touch feedback. The other thing that we've been really trying to make sure we do, and that I really think is part of our DIY ethos as a company, is that we've been trying to build based off of whatever hand tracking everyone else wants to have. We want it to be able so that you can just kind of add the gloves onto anything else, not have to rip the whole system of how you've been building. For example, in the video you see both index and leap motion based tracking systems. Those work directly from the same set of haptics attached to them, but being able to have both what might be beneficial from, say, a leap motion interaction that gives you a higher fidelity of movement, or say the index tracking, which gives you the wider field of view and the ability to not have to look at it, depending on what you want in your game or what you want to be experimenting with. We're really trying to make sure that the haptics can be available to whatever motion tracking you're building with. So that's a little bit about like the philosophy of what we're working on at Contact CI. I'd love to kind of just take questions about what you might think and kind of go from there.
That is one great pitch.
appreciate it. Thanks, Lucas. You're too kind.
What does the CI stand for, if you don't mind?
CI stands for Control Interfaces. Because when we started in 2015, 2014 timeline, a lot of companies were naming, something VR. Some great example, someone I thought made a smart change is haptics. They started as Axon VR. They looked at how do we make sure it doesn't just get pigeoned out as only being a VR thing, because of the AR mixed reality aspects of what haptics can go across to in the long term. But also, we've been looking at things on the robotic side, so extending your hands, touch tactile to what the hand is doing at the end of the robot's hand, no matter where you are. So again, those devices are usually considered like control interfaces rather than a gaming controller, and just in terms of like industry tech blah blah kind of stuff, so that's really where we chose to be less pigeonholed as only VR by adding the CI rather than being contact VR, because if we did just contact, that'd be the worst SEO decision in the world since every website has contact us on it.
So is there a kind of a standard benchmark for haptics that judges how realistic something is? So, for example, if I would close my eyes and simply try to interact with the world, how well would it work? So how well would I be able to realize what I'm doing? Or is it just because you're seeing it, your brain kind of tells you, okay, that's fine, that's an interaction, that should be like it is? Or
Yeah, that's a fantastic question, and honestly one that I think haptics as an industry as a whole is kind of struggling with and trying to figure out. In the beginning of 2020, there was a group of startups that include a number of the haptic groups in VR, but then some that have been looking at it on like the gaming controller side, say like what you're familiar with, like the Sony DualShock, or from like immersion on what they do on your phone's vibration, kind of looking at how do we make that an industry standard and doing it from like a truly we just kind of get together as a group, have a Slack, and talk what are the ways that we can quantify this, because right now it is mostly qualitative, on each one, like how well does, say, hitting that basketball feel. One of the reasons that became one of the demos we were able to do really well is because I play basketball every single day for, not every day, but like for a while I was playing 3 to 8 times a week pickup wise, so I pick up basketball almost every day, and it was like a way that I could judge, like, hey, does this qualitatively feel correct? But we're trying to move towards having those actually be metric based, so that yes, of course, it can be kind of rebuilt into more what you expect. That's really one of the hard parts of the developments right now, which I think is, like, from the DIY standpoint, going to be extremely important in getting gloves into other people's hands. Is more people that can just feel and touch, we can get a better standpoint of knowing, hey, what is something supposed to actually feel like to everyone's brain, because we have different perception realities, right?
Nice.
So another question: Have you seen a project that they do music-related gloves for MIDI systems? That's called MIMU gloves.
Yes, I have. Yeah. So I mean, they're, from my understanding, everything I've seen about them is high quality things. Any specific question about them?
Well, I was just wondering. I mean, they have a physical format down. They use their system as kind of like an instrument. Your hands as an instrument is the concept. Whereas they don't have any VR applications that I'm aware of. Although there's a lot of overlap between what you guys are doing, I think. And Lucas.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're certainly right. I mean, a lot of what they're doing right now is software that can tell you, hey, this gesture has been recognized, so they can transfer that back to the MIDI, right, and tell you. So it is a very similar concept of gesture tracking tech to know the movement that's happened and being able to be confident in that value, because that's one of the biggest bottlenecks to haptics as a whole, is just knowing that your hands movement is going to be what you want it to be, right? That knowing that value and that gesture is correct. And what I mean by that is, if I, like, say in the video that you're watching, like the basketball demo, if I'm not looking at the ball and I go to dribble at it and I don't feel anything at all, but I should have, and it's because like my movement isn't tracked properly in the system, I'm going to be really confused and not expect the interactions to be like what my brain would perceive proper in the real world, right? Because it's being thrown off and has a misperception gap, meaning that like you can't give that tangible cue without like your brain thinking your finger's in the spot that you put it in, right? If you're gesturally putting it somewhere else, and then the computer system thinks you're doing, or your intention is different, that really makes it impossible to tell you, like, hey, is the touch cue going to be good there? So that has been like one of the biggest bottlenecks, I guess, over the last 5 years that 2020 really opened up largely, because I mean, something you guys can all see on your Quest right now is like where that hand tracking is at. That was a couple different companies that came together to basically become like a 100-person engineering team within Oculus that did about 3 years worth of development to get that hand tracking to where it's at right now. And so, yeah, I mean, a lot of the overlap, I think, of what everyone's doing
Plus
in
an
hand
XR
space
chip.
is trying to bring all of those data points together. But, yeah.
How big's your team, Greg?
So we're a 6-person full-time team. It's part of what we've been trying to do is stay on the small side to be. When is that hand tracking tech ready to start kind of democratizing haptics? But right now we're actually looking to continue scaling up the team, probably be about double the size within the end of the year. But that's where we're at right now.
Nice.
I was really happy to see you guys had a booth here. When I was looking at the booths before, I was like, Contact CI! Yay!
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. And as you know, I'm a huge fan of your project, Lucas. I think, the fact that getting it out and having a way that anyone can kind of start working on it, I think that's the way that we can advance, again, the whole system of it. So I appreciate that you kind of taken up that mantle for haptics and revitalized even, I don't know if many of the people here, but, myself and Clue's self, seeing like how possible it is to just start doing it from the 3D printer side again. So big fan of what you're already doing.
Yeah, thanks, Craig.
I actually do have a question.
Yes.
Are there any next steps coming up, like for like elbows, like providing haptic feedback to your arm bending?
Yeah, so there are some people in the world that I know working on different arm and elbow things. I don't necessarily know there's a high chance we'll go down that route ourselves at Contact
Okay,
CI.
all right.
Part of it, for me, the limitation is just the amount of force it takes, right? The variance of my bicep versus, a 6-year-old's bicep versus a 70-year-old's bicep. I'm somewhere in between those two, so just, that's really all it is. Those are going to be different strengths you're going to be like holding against. The hand, you have the ability to kind of go off of how your brain doesn't really want to be using its full force in most of its movements, right? Think about picking up a glass. You don't squeeze it as hard as you can because you know you would kind of either slip off of it. Your friction forces tell you kind of how hard you need to grip into it, or when you're kind of putting yourself finger into it, it knows like how hard you're wanting to jam into it. All those sort of things that like you can kind of stabilize the variance of what you would expect from different fingers from everyone across the spectrum, if you will. But the elbow and kind of shoulders and other extremities like that have such high force values that I think it just, for a while, it will take a little bit too large of things that are going to be anything external, other than if you're able to do some sort of control on your muscles itself. Are you going to be doing like EKG type, electronic or electricity, shocks that are kind of coming from that end? That's the best way that I see people actually being able to control your elbows. And so Tesla suit might be one people are familiar with, and they're kind of that route. But it's going to be pretty hard to get a wearable that has enough force to externally control your elbow.
Very cool. Thank you.
Of course. But I don't want to discourage it. If someone else wants to figure it out, I would love that. Please do. Oh, wonderful. I guess from there, we have a website at contactci.co. Go ahead and check it out. We're on all the other social webs that you would expect from Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, those things. We're going to try and becoming a lot more active as a company going forward from here, just being publicly out and about in what we're working on and things, since we've done a lot of the research over the last 6 years kind of hidden to allow us to just kind of stay a small team and keep focused working. But we're kind of at the point right now we'd like to kind of get more and more feedback from the community. So I'd love to kind of keep engaging with you guys and have you follow and give feedback as we're able to start getting devices in people's hands.
Awesome.
Good luck
Thanks
with
a lot,
it.
Craig.
Yeah, cool.
Very
Good
cool.
luck,
And
Craig.
Very nice.
thanks, Lucas, and Finally Functional. I think we've gone to all the booths here that people are
I think
here.
we have Immense from the Gunstock. He just got here.
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm late. I'm so sorry. I'm in the Central Time, and I was like, 4 o'clock Central Time. Great. I'm so sorry. I think I see my booth over there, so I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Why
go
don't we all
for
go
it.
with him?
Absolutely.
Hey, nice to see you here, Craig.
Great to
How
see
you
you,
doing?
man.
High five.
High five. High five. It's
Okay, I was wondering where that was.
Dang, this
Excellent.
looks cool.
Hi, everybody. I'm Immense Fiend, or I came up with this idea for a Gunstock, like February, I think. I've just kind of been working on it ever since, just as something kind of to do. This is the original version. It's designed for Population 1. The Gunstock actually breaks in half at the middle with a magnetic coupling, and you can see in this one over here, you can see I have it on my belt. I actually have it on right now. There's like a belt that you put the front half on when you're not using it, and then you can detach it from the belt and then attach it to the stock, and then you are able to use the front half to help aim. So I kind of went a different route from a lot of other gun stocks, and then I designed that, and then there were some people that were like, hey, can you have a fixed controller option? So that's what this is. This is a fixed controller variant. There's a piece right here which slides over the magnetic coupling to keep it solid. So the fixed controller one doesn't actually break in half like the Population 1 version, but the controller on the front has like a magnetic ratcheting mechanism where you can rotate it forwards, and so you can kind of like C-clamp your grip like how you actually hold a rifle, which and then you continue rotating it forwards, and then it slides off. It's like a ratcheting thing. I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it. I just kind of came up with it on a whim. It's like those flagpole adjusting thing. You know what I'm talking about? You guys know what I'm talking about? Sorry, I'm really bad at these kinds of things. Never mind. And I'm actually working on another one right now. I came up with this idea for this yesterday, but it's a monopod that folds out of the stock so that when you get crouched down and you're doing some sniping or something at long range, you can steady it on your knee. So the monopod actually goes onto your knee, so when you're knelt down, you can balance the gun stock on your knee to get kind of some pretty good accuracy, and I've been playing around with that, and it's working pretty well. And then this over here, this one's really cool. This is a pump shotgun. So there's a slide between two aluminum tubes, and then I got this idea from Lucas to use badge reels that pull the slide back forwards. So you can pull it back, and then it'll kind of go back forwards under its own power, spring power. And all of these different gun stocks attach via the magnetic coupling. So the front half is just interchangeable between all of them. So you can take it off, switch games really fast. And then for the Population 1, you don't need the magnetic coupling, but for these two, you do, because they're too heavy. The pump shotgun is super heavy, but it's a lot of fun. And there's a video of me mowing down people with it in Zero Caliber Reloaded, a new VR shooter. So, yeah. Yay.
Nice.
I kind of just like spat a bunch of information at you guys. Do you guys have any questions? This isn't no software. I don't do code. I can't do that. I can't answer those questions. But if you guys have any questions about these, I am trying to get somebody to code a haptic feedback kick for this. So that might be coming up in the future as like a DIY force feedback gun stock. So yeah.
For like the shotgun pump and other things, do you have any, like, I don't know, a switch of some sort that presses a button for you, so when you're doing it, it's linked to something, or is that just purely tied to the motion of your controller that's attached?
It is purely tied to the controller. There are zero haptics. This is just a physical object that you hold, and then being able to slide the stock back gives it just keeps it in in a linear motion, so that when you're pumping, it doesn't like come back here or like off to the side or wherever, or down. It keeps the shotgun like pointed forward, basically, if that makes sense. So
gotcha.
So yeah, it just works a little bit differently.
No, that makes sense. I just wasn't sure if like there was like some, like when you pulled it back, if it like made a lever press down on a button or something like that mechanically.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, it does not do that.
So
any more Sorry.
So
yes?
how much was 3D printed, and how much did you have to buy?
So the tubes holding everything together are carbon fiber. I'm currently trying to get sourcing from not China, preferably in the U.S. And then the pump shotgun has aluminum tubes on it, 3/4 inch aluminum tubes, and then so the pump shotgun one is going to be a little bit harder to describe. There's a render up there that'll show up eventually. I think does that video like continuously go? It's supposed to be like 8 minutes. I don't know.
It'll loop, yes.
Okay, great. There's a render that shows up that shows inside the shotgun, and once you see that, it might click a little bit better. But there's the magnets that you gotta buy, and then bolts, nuts and bolts.
There's a render.
No, I'm sorry.
There's a render.
I think it's playing at different rates for
It's
everybody.
not
It probably shows
Everybody has
differently
its
for everyone
own-
because it's a texture.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I was gonna say
Okay.
if that's able to like desync across all of ours. That's
okay. The renders are showing up for me
badass.
now, but yeah, you can. Yeah. All right. Cool. Now that's figured out. Oh, my bad. And you gotta really it's just like the magnets, the bolts, and the carbon fiber. That's all you have to buy, and then I have videos about the assembly process on YouTube. So yeah, and then there is one thing that's kind of tricky for me to get right now. It's these like the knuckle straps. It has built-in knuckle straps because that's how it keeps the controllers locked in. Sorry, if you see me pointing right here, I forget that you guys can't see my physical body, and I'm actually pointing at the Gunstock. So that's why. And I'm using the VR cover ones, like these little like soft things with Velcro on them, and I don't know where to get them. I found like a hard hat sweatband that I cut in half that works, but like I gotta work on the Velcro for it. So that's a work in progress. That's like the last thing that I have no idea what to do about, but everything else I pretty much have a good handle on. So yeah, that was very bad, but did I answer the question a little bit? All right, cool. Anybody else have any more questions?
Yeah,
in your
said
video, you
were-
have yellow and blue parts. So is this in the picture? I think it's only blue. So is this just for demonstration, or is there a reason behind it that's different colors?
The one with the silver. So there's two different variants that I came up with. Just they're completely decorative. One of them is called the V series, and then one of them is the original. The one that you see in that video or the pictures is original. It's just like whatever I could make with having 2 months of Fusion 360 training, and then the second one I made later on, which replaces that with a Veroni pattern, so it's much more like organic looking. And people said it looks like Venom's webs, and so I printed it in like silver, and it looks cool. But so I just took that one off because I didn't want to like tease it. I didn't want to be like teasing it or anything if it doesn't actually anywhere. So I just wanted to keep it all the same. So I switched over to a blue one that matches the original pattern for the pictures. It's purely aesthetic. It doesn't make any difference. It's I do actually have another kind of slight variant, which is a Magpul brand AR15 butt pad that I play with contractors. I have two back halves. One of them has this Magpul butt pad on it, which is like, it grips your shoulder really quite nicely, but it's very heavy, so I don't use it when I play Population 1, because rubber's super dense. But I'm working on dialing that one in, but it does work, and it's a lot better to play like kind of more precise first-person shooters with. But yeah, so the Magpul's cool. I like to say it has genuine AR-15 parts, just as like a funny thing.
do you think
All right.
are actually using those stocks? Because it kind of seems, I mean, I'm not playing shooters, so I can't really relate to that, but I see a lot of those stocks around, and I think, is this really like this, is there more a subculture, or is it really like a huge part of players who are using stocks and stuff?
It depends on the game. In Population 1, I'm probably one of the only people playing with a stock. But in Onward, everybody's like, oh yeah, I got this one, or I got this one. It's just like depends on the game. Like I said, I designed the original stock to play Population 1 because nobody had designed a stock for Population 1 yet. They had modified their current stocks to be lighter to play Population 1, but nobody had, like, from the get-go, from the start, designed a stock for Population 1. So, in Population 1, have you ever seen, like, footage or tried it or anything?
Yeah, screenshots and videos, but I haven't played it, no.
Do you mind
Okay, it's
elaborating
like-
on what the design decisions for that would be? Sorry to
So,
like in terms of how like that.
no worries,
happened.
no worries. So, if you come look at this picture over here, it might help you. It might kind of help figure it out a little bit. Sorry. Basically, the stock breaks in half in the middle with a magnetic coupling.
I think we have to meet up. I think we're about to drop.
I fell through the floor and came back.
Okay, sorry.
Oh. Looks like some people glitched out and fell through the map.
It's like a glitch
Sorry.
in the Matrix, you know. Occasionally, this thing you have to
Oh.
reset it. Some people will be back in a minute.
A black cat
Yeah.
running by, that'd be great.
Still a very new
Um,
app, so there's little glitches here and there.
I understand that. I don't judge that because I don't code. So, I'll just wait for them to get back. It's not that big of a deal. Does anybody else have any other questions while we wait for them to get back?
Yeah, I come in a little later. You have any plans or any ideas for? I've seen one Gunstock where it has like a little motor in the butt that
Yeah.
like makes like a rattle or whatever, like your actual a recoil
Yeah,
makes a recoil.
The Pro Tube has a the Pro Tube is like one of the top ones on the market right now, and it has a forgot what they're called, like not linear actuator. What's the other one? That's a solenoid. They have solenoid things that like hit your shoulder, and I want to do one of those. And there's a guy in Sweden who's like that I've talked to through like a 3D printer group, and I told him about this, and he's like, hey, it'd be cool if we did a sound-based haptic system. And so maybe that'll come out in the future, if that ever works, if I can ever find the right haptic motion. I don't really want to go with vibrate. I'd rather have like a kick, but I'd go with vibrate if there was nothing else. If everybody was pushing for it and there wasn't anything else, I'd go with vibrate, but I'd rather have something that kicks, like actually kicks. So are the people who asked about the Population 1 back yet?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. So basically the stock breaks in half, and then you wear the front half on a belt clip, which is right here, this little white piece here. And then you can see me with it, the front half on the belt clip up there. And one of the great things about Population 1 is that you can lock the, you can turn off the offhand influence. So you can do stuff like this, where if you need to use a rifle quick, you can just use the back of the stock to control your dominant hand. And then just use your other hand as, like, it can be anywhere. It's a little difficult to describe if you've never played the game. Also, I'm pretty new to VR. I got my Quest in like October, so I'm not really, I haven't been around too long.
Well, welcome to the club.
Well, thank you. I do enjoy it. So yeah, and then the magnetic coupling is fairly weak, and that is one thing I would say about the design and the magnets I chose. If you can, it does not take fast movement very well. So it really is like I actually only use the stock about 20% of the time when I'm in game. I usually have to crouch down to get to use it, or I stand somewhere with a sniper. Like I really don't use it that often, but it's nice to have. And then it also kind of works backwards from a traditional gun stock. because it doesn't hold the controller. You're basically using the front half to make fine adjustment tunings to the controller in your right hand. Does that make sense? Like, you push it up against your shoulder, then you can make smaller movements from a farther distance. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of like, that's kind of the idea behind it. It's not supposed to like simulate. I mean, the other two do simulate really well, but this one doesn't really simulate holding a firearm. It's really just like a precision tool to help with aiming. So,
For this one, is the locomotion in Population 1 then controlled by your head? Like you can switch that, right? Like where you point with your hands or you point with your head? Where do you want to go?
you can switch. I have it on my head, but you can have it on your hands.
Right.
I've been playing a little bit of Onward recently, and Onward has the little hand that goes with your head, but if you twist your controller while you're doing a direction, it'll go. And I try to do that in Population 1, and I always forget that it's not in that game. And I'm always like looking like an idiot, just like so. Doesn't really. I always forget, but yes, it doesn't interfere with locomotion at all. I'd be interested to see how it holds up with something like Finally Functional's movement, locomotion, but I'd be interested to see that. So, yeah, it's a cool little thing. Also, I did forget to mention, sorry, I'm just going to keep spouting off. I'm so sorry, guys. You have to listen to me rant. The grip is inspired by the M16 assault rifle, and you can see on the 3D model over there, I would say that this is probably one of the most comfortable gun stocks to hold, because it really gives you a sense of comfort, and it holds your hand very tightly. The knuckle strap does hold your hand very tight to the gun stock, so you do have very good control over it. It doesn't twist or anything in your hands, which I find some other gun stocks do that have smooth or just have the Quest controller being your main thing, because you get sweaty and then it starts sliding because it's a cylinder. So that was one thing I changed. Also, I really don't like it when gun stocks look like guns. I don't know. I just get really bothered because, like, imagine trying to send that through TSA, because, like, TSA then is going to freak out. Also, because this one breaks in half, it's easy to put in a suitcase. So it's, even if you don't use it for Population 1, it's still a good, like, travel stock. So, the breaking in half is, like, probably... It's something that sets me apart from everybody else. Nobody else has a modular gun stock like this. They have versions of their gun stock, but it's not truly modular. So, I would say that that's kind of my niche for the casual player who wants to have a gun stock for all occasions.
And it's cool that it's modular. I think you could fit different parts together, I imagine. So maybe you could have the same back and then have like a crossbow front or something where you actually get to like pull a string back, or...
You know, actually, I was thinking about doing an archery gun stock for archery games. I thought that'd be cool. I don't know how I'd pull it off, but and I don't know how it would work, but I did think about it, and I have been thinking about it, so that might be a thing. It probably wouldn't be based on any of the system, though. It probably would not. It would use the same controller grips, which are the M16, which is basically just had there's a special group with the initials DD, which is an open source group, and that's all I'm going to say, where I took a file from an M16 grip, an AR15 M16 grip, and then I put a file of a Quest controller inside of it, and then used the combine cut tool on Fusion, and so basically just hollowed it out for a Quest controller. So, it bolts on. There's no glue. That's another thing I wanted. I didn't want to have to glue anything. So, yeah, it all just bolts together. So even if a part breaks, which has happened before, old versions, I tried to do one in silk, and then I hit like a chair, and the front grip snapped along the layer line. So, that's why you don't print in silk unless it's decorative. So,
oops.
Yeah, it was a big oops.
Oh no, I mean like oops as in I printed in silk for a lot of my glove parts.
oh, sorry, Lucas. Sorry. Well, I'm sure your printer was tuned for silk. Mine isn't. Mine is like, I'm using GST 3D cheapo PLA, $10 a spool. It's very cheap.
Nice.
But it does work.
Oh yeah, I'm
so.
using like eSun. Have you ever taken the
Yeah,
like,
I'm
stock
also
through?
using silk for his glove mount. I'm
I'm
also
sorry,
using
Lucas.
silk for Lucas' gum mount. Yeah, you can continue.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Lucas.
Oh,
What
I
was-
said, have you ever used or have you ever taken the Gunstock through TSA?
Yes, I have. Twice, actually. I have. And it passed with flying colors. Nobody asked any questions about it because it doesn't look like a gun.
Nice.
And I was actually talking to somebody else that it's like, they have another gun stock on like Discord. I got invited to like another gun stock thing. And I was talking about it with the creator there. I forgot what it's called, but it's like super lightweight and it's got like carbon fiber. It's very minimalistic. And the difference between mine and that one is that I will sacrifice weight for features. So, I did sacrifice weight for features. But this gun stock, which I'm again trying to gesture to you guys because I can't get it through my brain that you can't see what I'm holding in my hands. Oh, sorry, I'm lagging
So
out.
I will see you later.
What's going on? What? I'm
It's
sorry.
lagging for me too.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
lagging.
Okay. So the gun stock without controllers weighs less than a pound. The whole that one over there, that's the 3D model. That thing without a controller weighs less than a pound. So very lightweight, very travelable.
Yeah, very nice.
So yeah, thank you.
I think you're saying you're using carbon fiber and aluminum tubes, and I think PVC might also work
Actually,
as well.
there's no PVC. PVC's too dense. I don't want to do stuff with PVC.
Okay.
Would it work if we 3D printed the pipe, the carbon fiber part?
It's not gonna be any lighter, honestly. I like the carbon fiber because it's very lightweight and it's very strong. So if you drop it, which does happen with this, because there's actually a clip in the video where I'm playing Population 1 and the front half of the Population 1 stock falls off and it hits the ground. And if that was 3D printed, it might snap along a layer line in the middle of that, and then you'd be out of commission entirely. So it might be light enough if you made the layers, if they made the walls thin enough and the infill thin enough, but I don't think it'd be wise to print it. Now, people have asked if they could use a wooden dowel, and I have not tested that. A wooden dowel could work, but I also did everything in metric, so you'd have to go with a 19mm, and everything would be a little bit loose. And I do have, there's a piece right here, which is right in front of the magnetic coupling. It looks like it holds the tube in place. I have made those from like 16mm to like 16.5 to 17 to 17.5mm of diameter, so you can use different diameter tubes. And I even did like, there's a lot of variance in that. So like between 18 and 19, I did 18.1, 18.2, 18.3. So if it doesn't work the first time, you can print a bigger one that'll fit better. So, and then there's another kind of like weird system that I use called the bullet lock that I came up with. It's basically like a 3D printed part with an M5 nut in it, so that when you drill through the carbon fiber, you don't have to bolt it all the way through. You just slide this bullet lock, I call it, in there, and then you put an M5 bolt in from the top, so it holds the carbon fiber in, but you don't have to, but it only holds it from one side, if that makes sense. That made no sense. I'm so sorry.
You mean like a set screw?
No, so there's an M5 nut that goes inside of the 3D printed part, the lock, and then the lock slides into the end of the carbon fiber, and then you attach it all together, and then you go through the hole. So it's like, I can't compare it to anything, I guess.
That's
I'm
all right.
sorry. It's like if you were able to take a PVC pipe, drill a hole in it, like only through one side, and then like you somehow like got a bolt in it, and then like reached down with like pliers and then like put a nut on it. Like it's a little bit like that, but it just holds the nut in place. It just holds the nut in place so that it doesn't have to like, I don't have to like think about it. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't. So, yeah. Do we have any more questions? I'm sorry. No? Well, I thank you guys for coming to check this out. I really appreciate it. This is really cool. I never thought I'd actually be in like the same like venue as Lucas for like anything. So this has been a really cool experience. So yeah, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice work.
Thank you. Thank you. This is a cool place. I popped in the last time to see what the expansion was all about and whatnot, and I didn't. It wasn't. It was the last API, but I like what they did with the place.
Yeah, it's very cool here. Oh, people drop through the floor.
Right.
Fell down.
It's already happened.
Alright, I'm
to me
gonna
today.
log off before I fall through the floor, but thanks for the presentation, Shell.
All right.
Super interesting.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
that,
you.
that was great.
Thanks,
Yeah, it was
guys.
really cool.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
I'm gonna go check out some other stands. If you guys have questions, you guys know where to find me. Also, I hand painted this, so that sucked.
Die müssen auf jeden Fall mehr so Ding einbauen, wo man so also Model-Out sagen kann.
Ja, ein paar mehr Positionen wären schön. Auf jeden Fall.
Da traut man sich gar nicht hinklicken, weil wenn die Leute alle schauen.
Ja, deswegen was Neues reinzutun. Absolut richtig. Na, das war doch heute wirklich spannend.
Mhm.
Sachen. Oh, Richard?
Yes.
Hey, are you working for 40 Views?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm using
Thanks.
a lot of your stuff for testing at the moment. So,
what are you trying to achieve?
well, I'm working on an AR app for previews of film scenes, and
Okay.
I would like to implement something like a digital virtual or volumetric stand-in for actors. So, as a director,
During
you can,
during a like a previs scenario,
Yeah.
or would you be
Yeah.
doing it? Okay.
yeah, like previous production, you can have your as a director or cameraman, whatever, you will do a small setup of a scenery with objects that you want to test out, and then
Yeah.
would be ideal to have something like a scanned actor, just some
Yeah.
seconds where you can push him in from the sides, left, out, put your Batman model or robot or whatever you have, and then you can do some blocking and testing and stuff like that. So
In that case, would you want to use a sort of a library of standardized sequences? You know, walking forward, standing still, walking backwards, that kind of thing? Or are you thinking about specific actions for specific scenes?
Well, I'm thinking both. The first one would be great to have something like standardized size of people
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
standard, like walk in, walk out, sit down, whatever. But it depends on the scale of the production. My tool is more running on an iPad or Android device, so it's more for the smaller productions. The big ones, they do have sophisticated big solutions. You know, I'm
Sure.
working in Babelsberg, and we're doing quite big movies here. And
Yeah.
if they're doing virtual production, they do it at a large scale. But I'm thinking about the small producers that don't have so much budget, so they can
Yeah.
really work in their offices or in, for example,
Right.
if you're shooting in a environment, we do that in Germany a lot. We are not shooting in the studio. We're taking
You're on
original
set.
environments. Exactly.
Yeah,
And
okay.
so you can send out someone there and say, is this environment suitable for us?
Uh-huh.
And it would be great to have a scan of a person to say, okay, our model or whatever is size whatever, and now
Yeah.
let's see how the piano in 3D together with a scanned volumetric person is looking in this environment. And then you can
Okay.
send back videos and pictures to the production.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So that's what I'm working on.
And so I guess if you're thinking about German productions to start with, for example, I'm assuming your smaller productions are more like creative content, art films, as opposed to an American small production, which might be sort of a sitcom, sort of a standardized, with a very standardized movement of people around, like over the sofa in the middle and all that sort of usual old-fashioned patterning. You think about more where each production would be different and unique?
Well, I think you could do both quite well. The point is
Okay.
that, for example, for sitcom, sure, it will be very standardized, also for daily
Yeah.
drama or stuff. Because
Sure, exactly, yeah.
They have 4 angles, and it's always the same stuff they do because they have
Exactly.
to produce an hour per day or whatever.
Hmm.
Sure, this is more aiming into the television movie production that we have a lot here. 1 hour movies, a lot of crime scene, blah blah stuff. You know, we have tons
Sure.
of those crime things, but they're all
course.
individual, independent, small movies, and they don't have big budgets. They have for everything together $1 million euros or stuff. That's very
Right.
small budgets in the end.
Yeah.
And there was no tool for someone to just check out how to set up the scene and to test it a little bit. So that was
So
the
then
one
you've got someone who's gone to a possible set. They've brought their iPad along with them.
Yep.
They're looking, I guess, through the iPad at the set.
Yep.
And then they're going to add in some kind of a sequence just to sort of to do some elemental blocking. If here's a woman walking through the set or something like this.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, is your iPad camera going to try and, or not try, he's going to reconstruct sort of the shape of the room?
Well, I'm just moving over now to the LiDAR scan version.
Okay,
At the
yeah,
moment,
yeah.
I'm using the very standard iPad, and I'm working on this 2 years already. So I
Yeah.
already set it up. One demo thing. I could give you something like a Facebook link where you can see a video of that.
Yeah, that'd be
Where
great.
I'm already using one of your demo scenes, volumetric scenes, for example.
What are you
And together
using,
with-
the Unity plugin, or are you using the?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
the Unity plugin, exactly, and I downloaded some of them. And there was this very nice model walking, or this Shaolin monk that is fighting. That's
Oh
very
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Wow, I haven't seen that one for a while. Wow.
Yeah, it's
okay.
an older one. That's correct. Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. But just to have the possibility to set up, I set it up a little sci-fi scene with robots, and then the Shaolin monk to it. It's weird, but it works somehow. But
Yeah.
the feeling that you walk through the room as a director and say, okay, how could I set this up? The robot is coming from this direction, the monk is coming from that. How is my camera angle? How narrow is the stuff here, for example? That's really cool, in my opinion. So
Yeah, and if you've got the room with LiDAR, and you can pop your person anywhere. Yeah, I mean, you're basically you're sort of pre-shooting the film for a very low cost.
Yeah, at least
trying out camera positions, trying out a lot of sort of very rough blocking, and of course you could always go from there, print out here's a frame of each storyboard indicator.
Exactly.
Yeah, very nice.
Exactly. Yeah. So I also will try to do this like a little communication tool for the production. So I implemented Google Drive as my source for models. So the person can just take the iPad, go to the set, and the art department can still work on some models that he will need for blocking, for testing, push it up to the Google Drive. He can download it directly, import it, exactly. And I will also implement that for your, in this case, files, so that I can do it on the fly with implementing. And then do some screenshots or maybe video. That depends how performant your iPad is in the end, and push it back. But I would also love to integrate. I just started with floor plans, for example, to say, oh, this will be a real floor plan also from the production, from the art department and stuff like that. That will
Interesting.
incorporate. And maybe some parts from the from storyboards or from the script itself, where you can mark like this would be the part of the script, and I would have this setup. This setup would be my idea. So the cameraman can discuss that with the director and assistants and whatever. So that's the
Indeed,
overall
because once you have that kind of information coming in, the visuals you can set up. Of course, you're so right. Around it, camera notes, notes about react, all that stuff around the visuals are going to be very important. Of course, so really you need to build that. Of course, you're already doing. You need to build it out in different directions so that it can be sort of a rich, multiple commentary place. That's kind of cool. Yeah, that just reminds me, if you're using the Shaolin one, today's data is significantly smaller.
Oh, okay.
We're down to I don't recall the size of the Shaolin one.
100.
We're down
Just the
to
mobile.
about, for a single person, about 2 megabytes per second, I think it is.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it's probably a lot smaller than what you have for the Shaolin. I don't have this
Yeah.
in front of me, but
I think it
some of
was
the
100,
newer
100.
ones on the website might be easier if you're going to go up to a Google Cloud or Google Drive rather, and go back down to iPad over, be it a 4G or a 5G. That might this might make moving them around a little easier for you. That's all.
Yeah, that's great. I will check that out. That is fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it's would be great if you're having, I was talking to the guys that set it up a 40 View studio in the Netherlands.
Oh yeah, 40R. Yeah, that's a really great team. Yep.
Yeah. So I was thinking, it was Corona, so there was nothing produced anyways.
Of course. Yeah.
Horrible time in that case. So I was thinking like, would be great to have some spaces where you can send, if it's a bit bigger production, they could say, okay, let's do 10 shots with our main character on a 40 views set, let's say, and use that. And as a production company, maybe also some people would consider in the future to do that for something like their Vita or something, to say, hey, do you want to test me as an actor in a previs? So I go somewhere, shoot a part of me, and then I will send it out like a card or something, and they can directly put me in and see, hey, that guy works awesome in this, scenery or stuff like that.
That's interesting. That's an interesting idea, doing it that way. Sort of a casting. Proposal. Here, look at me in this scene. Interesting.
Yeah.
And you could do it with if you have a small production or a couple of them that standardized stuff, you could have sort of a little library of a few sequences that are the same. And then, of course, your larger productions, well, they want to see their specific stuff. Like, well, that's no problem. We just send someone to a studio and do a specific thing for that.
Absolutely.
Dial in tighter to what it is they really want to see, if they have the means to, that kind of time making the stuff.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I would love to set up. I mean, I'm just a one-man company at the moment, so I was starting up 2 years ago.
Everyone starts somewhere. Always first one, and then two, and then whatever.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I would love to get more in contact with you guys to see where you're going and how to utilize the technology more. It's still in the beginning, as we all know. But
yes, indeed, it is. It's growing. It's very slow. Where are we going? Well, the HoloSys needs to make higher quality images. That's, of course, a never-ending, challenge. It needs to be easier to use, and it needs to be, just better overall. I'm more likely to tell you what we did in the past. In the past, we've doubled resolution, and we've cut file size in half, and made things streamable and that kind of stuff. So, more of the same going forward, I think. But what we're thinking about.
It's awesome that it develops quite fast, I have to say.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
so many people said, well, it will take a long time with this huge data amounts, and to do that mobile will not be possible, and blah. And you see, well, you can already use it a lot, so it's really cool.
I don't know if you have noticed, it's not exactly the same thing what you're talking about. It wouldn't be directly applicable, but it might be for something else. We just put out a new tool. It's a post-production tool.
Oh, cool.
Where
For
you
editing?
can, for editing, so you shoot sequences, and then you can do a bunch of things with this new tool. You can do nonlinear editing. You can chop them up, stick them back together again. That's all fine. You can do things come to mind for your scenario. Maybe is that you can do seamless visual morphing. You can morph between different sequences.
Cool.
So if you had a bunch of pieces, you could morph them together, and they become a sort of more or less seamless overall story. And the other thing you can do is, I mean, there's many things you can do. I think that seems relevant here is you can do tracking on the sequences. So you can track someone's hand or their foot, or either with a point or with a zone, allowing you to add in props in post-production much more easily. You get an FBX file.
Oh.
So it depends. I mean, in some scenarios, you could, if you had some kind of sequences, some pieces that were standardized, it could be morphed into one with a smoother final presentation, and/or you could add in props if that was helpful.
Yeah.
Not sure that's really
definitely.
directly helpful, but that's something that exists. We just put it out about a week ago. It's a brand new tool called 4D FX. And if you want to have a look at it, just let me know. That's no big deal. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting, definitely. I mean, imagine if you have an actor and you just want to give him a sword in his hand that he hadn't got before, just to see.
Oh yeah, just put a dot in his hand, and then there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe track the zone of his hand.
Yeah.
So you have that kind of rotation. A dot wouldn't necessarily give you what you wanted. You try them both. Recently we did a thing where we put on some what was it? We put something on. I found what it was. Anyways, we did something recently, very recently, and the dot had a lot of. We have a single dot tracking, like a single point tracking, and we did that, and it worked, but it had a lot of. Oh, I know. It was a flashlight. We had a hand, and it was holding a flashlight, and then we tracked the end of the flashlight and put a light on the floor to follow the movement of the. And we found that the dot tracking, for example, had a lot of jumpiness in it. It really moved around in sort of an unnatural way. But by tracking the entire end of the flashlight as a larger zone, you get much more stability. So for your sword, I'm not sure. It'd probably be worth trying both of them. It could be a dot just to attach it, or it could be a larger zone giving more of a reflection of the way the actual limb is moving.
Yeah, like an
But
average.
either way,
metric.
you just try it out and see.
Yeah. No, it's
No, I'd love
really
to hear more about what you're doing. You should send me a something. Send me anything.
I have your contact here for the views and Richard Broadbridge. Here is your website. Sure, I know that, and your name. So I guess I could get you there.
Can I see that about you? Do I have a button for that?
If you just click on, just point on me.
Yeah.
And click, or take the main shoot button.
Ah, I see. Oh, okay.
And there's my.
Okay. So now my hands are in front of me. Can you see the laser beam coming out of my hand? No.
No.
Only I can see that laser beam. Okay.
Yeah. Only yourself.
Okay.
Good. Yeah.
What's a digital.de?
Exactly.
Okay.
And
Cool.
it's the project is called Cinograph AR. And you will find something on Facebook, but I can send you a link so you can.
Yeah,
see
send me
some-
something. That would be great. Just send me something. You have my email, my little card there.
Not your email. That is, it's called not set here for whatever kind of reason.
Okay.
But I'm following you. There's a follow button, and if you set it up your email in your registration here, it should be in there. I should be able to find it there, but I'm sure I will find you on your website somehow.
Oh, you know what you can do. on the website there's a contact page. Oh, wrong button. Just mention that we talked, and it will appear in my world.
Okay, awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
No, I'd love to see what you're doing, and we could. If you need any help or anything, but it sounds like you're pretty much all set. The only thing that comes to mind is small data. Maybe it might be easier to move around. Other than that, it sounds like you're pretty much doing a cool stuff. I'd love to show my team what you're doing. They probably would be fascinated, probably. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. I mean, it's always great to see. And you started so early with this topic because we also have a studio here in Babelsberg called Volocap. But
with Sven. Yeah.
I already used your tool some months before Volucaps just started. Right. So I had the chance earlier just to test. The first thing was the model. This girl walking by in the dress, just to test how it works. And it worked so seamlessly easy. I thought I would take days to implement it, and I did that in 2 hours.
It's nice. It has to be easy, otherwise how can I get anything done? We started this this venture, as it were, back in 2007.
Yeah, I read that. It's awesome.
Too early. It's too early. Way too early. But we're still here, and things have gotten better, so that's good enough, whatever.
And you have a lot of studios now around the world already, don't you?
Yeah, we have about, I think it's 12, I think, yeah.
Wow. That's a lot.
There's 4 in Asia. They're really going strong. 2 in Japan, 2 in Taiwan. And then the strong ones in Europe would be 40R, who you've talked to.
Yeah.
And ourselves. The others are doing other stuff. And then there's the U.S. The U.S. kind of slowed down during the pandemic a lot. And now they kind of get back on their feet. So LA's back online and starting off strongly, and Atlanta's back online. So yeah, it'd be nice to have more of them because that's what we do, and because it means people would have easier access, geographically, to be able to go and shoot somewhere.
Yeah.
But luckily we have LA's back online, which is good because LA projects can now just go there.
Yeah.
And the more the better, because then people can start making content, because it's just so different. People in Taiwan are making this great stuff. It's a mixture of cultural stuff, both modern and older, and the Japanese stuff is completely different. And it's always interesting to see what people make. It's always fascinating.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, this topic is for sure special, and people have to find what are we going to do with this? Where's the difference to having a rigged character like this here, for example?
Absolutely.
A person is a person. But if you really see, especially the Shaolin monk is a great example, how he moves and how he looks and stuff like that. It's so amazing, and it makes it look so realistic. Even in my environment, that is just my room with some sci-fi decoration stuff, and then moving around and getting the feeling of would this guy work in this scenery. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Just love that.
It is nice, and I think there's something like that. I mean, that's an actual Shaolin monk, and that's the kind of data where it's really about the specific person and the specific movements. I mean, I don't think we should only motion capture that. We can do that, of course,